Now when we survived the early access and also got our first full week of NHL content, I'm gonna talk about what is good, bad and interesting in this year's Hockey Ultimate Team. And before we dive into it, I just want to say that all this is my opinion and this is me yapping about this year's game, talking about what I like, dislike, and what I think also have a potential to be really good if EA just little bit change few things. So no, this will not be another video where I'm just saying that everything is shit and the game is absolutely dead, because there are a lot of good things I actually like this year as well. And that's why I will start with everything what I think is good. And this week EA released our first weekly objectives. And yes, I know a lot of people will say they don't like it. I like that we have to use players from certain teams. And I'm not saying that because, you know, I like using lower overall Buffalo Sabres players. I'm saying that because now when you're pulling some 75 or 76 overall cards from random NHL teams, they may potentially sell for something when these objectives come out. And because we really cannot make any coins in an NHL video game, at least at this point, those sort of objectives actually make our fodder good, and we can sell the cards and make some coins and actually buy the players to help our team. Do I think these weekly headliner packs are good? No, because I saw a lot of people opening them. Some people pulled 84s, some people pulled 75s. One way or another, it's a card you can use in your collection, so I'm happy that this year we don't see some random B&D player as a reward, because if you remember NHL 25, that was exactly what we had at least early in the year. This year we get bunch of packs where yes, you most likely will not pull anything, but even those 75s after can be exchanged for something, and considering we are all waiting for fantasy event, and who knows what the overalls for fantasy will be, those exchange sets may actually be useful. When EA said in their deep dive that they will try to focus on real hockey this year, at least a little bit more than they did let's say last year, they actually meant it, because we finally see some European players. And I know a lot of people will probably say, you know what, I cannot make these players, so I'm not using them. But the fact that we even see European players so early in the year, it's actually really cool. They also are highlighting some younger players to watch this year. And if we are talking about the content released this week, I also want to highlight that they also gave us the transaction cards, which last year, if you remember, we had to wait very long until we actually see the first transaction cards. Some players were signed 4 weeks ago, and then, I don't know, 4 weeks after we only saw the hot cards for them. So considering they reacted very quickly this year, it's a W in my opinion. And the last thing I want to highlight is the new captains. JT Miller was announced as a captain for New York Rangers, and I'm not saying that because, you know, I'm a Rangers fan. I'm saying that because as soon as it was announced, they actually released a new captain's card. Not a lot of people will go and make him, but the fact that you even can go and make this 85 overall card and use him as your captain, let's say if you're a Rangers fan or just a fan of the player, it's cool. So with that being said, there is a potential that they actually will watch and follow NHL this year and even all the other leagues. So if we will see more content release which will link to the real hockey, I'm definitely down for it. Another thing I really like is this Fresh Ice exchange set. I don't know if this is something we will see every single content drop or this is just a one-off, and I really hope it's not, because it allows you to exchange previous event MSP with some other cards and get the current event MSP. I think this is actually a really good feature, and let's say you went all in, made that MSP, played all week, and you really don't like him. You have a chance of having a little discount and make the next week's MSP. With grinding a little bit of chores and exchanging that MSP from previous event, you can always make one MSP without a lot of grinding, if you know what I mean. So yes, at the moment there is a timer, so I'm not expecting this to happen in week 2 as well, but I really hope that EA brings this back, because in my opinion this is a really cool set. Also, when the game dropped for everyone, we saw probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, content drops in NHL history, because once again we get new icons, new heroes cards, more rookie cards we can make, 85 overall captains, 82 overall captains, and in general there was just so much content being released in one day, and there was basically a card for everyone. I don't think anyone could actually say, you know what, there is not a single card I want to go and make, because if you're not fan of this team, you could go and make a player because you're a fan of another team. There was just a lot of content, and I absolutely love that, because I think the more cards, the more content we see, the better it is for the player base and all the people who are working on their teams, for example. This may be very subjective, because I know a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. I personally like the new line combinations. I like that they offer me an opportunity to have some overall boosts, for example, or ability point boosts, or even the salary cap boost, because yes, at this point not everyone can hit that 1 million salary cap, but as the overalls will go up, we probably will see more and more people actually hitting that 100 million mark, and a lot of people will complain. For me personally, I think it's a really cool feature, because now it means you don't really need to make an MSP every single week. You can actually go and choose the cards you want, because with all the overall boosts you can just build a team, let's say, and get some additional boosts. you can absolutely ignore it and just use your favorite players if you want, because EA is not really forcing you to use any of these players. It's just another option for you to, let's say, have higher overall cards. For people who are no money spent, I actually think this is a really good feature, and it will make their teams a little bit more competitive, for example, because it straight away allows you to have a lower overall card with better stats. Let me know down in the comment sections below, what do you think about the line combinations? Do you like it? You don't like it? Do you think EA is forcing us to use the same teams? Or you maybe are just ignoring it and still using the players you like? And now let's talk about the mode not a lot of people like. For me personally, I think Cup Chase is much better than, let's say, squad battles. And the reason why I'm saying it is because if, let's say, you play your Cup Chase run on Superstar difficulty, you no longer need to go undefeated. All you have to do is just win the cup and you get yourself 3 packs. That pack guarantees you 182 overall player. And a lot of people again will say, 82 is not good enough. But let's say if you're not playing online and all you do is just grind offline, one Cup Chase run takes you around 2 hours at best, for example. So that means in 1 week you can get enough 82s to go and make any of these 85 overall captain cards. So yes, it may be boring for a lot of people, but technically it gives you guaranteed rewards and they are repeatable. So the more time you have, the more rewards you can get. And yes, you straight away are not getting a card to use in your team, but those 82s can be used in a lot of sets. So do I think Cup Chase is better than squad battles? 100%. On top of that, they also are giving us Cup Chase objectives where you can earn quite a lot of Cup Chase collectibles, which then can be exchanged for more packs, and that means more 82s to, let's say, make any of the new captains you want. I know that a lot of people in the community thinks that there is not enough packs, you cannot really earn enough good rewards, but I can tell you, yes, there are not enough packs to open, but all those packs add up. Every single card you earn can be exchanged for something, and that means exchange sets to make another one. Is it boring? Yes. But can you still make yourself a competitive team? Also yes. Now let's talk about what I think is interesting in this year's game and have a potential. Firstly, the Chell Weeks. And I'm not talking about an actual MSP. I think what really has the potential is the MSPs they are releasing and allowing us to vote for any card who could potentially go up by +1 in the overall. Having community involved in all those things is actually really fun. And yes, I know 5 days content and stuff like that, and maybe some of that content is not really fun because they just release 5 cards and maybe 1 line combination, but it's still something new. So depends how they will release the Chell Weeks going forward, and I know it's like once a month. I think it has a potential. So that's why I would say it's definitely interesting. Another thing I believe have a really good potential this year is the content drops where they also add the new line combinations. And yes, pretty much the Chell Week is like that. The European players was like that. If they keep doing that more and more as they release the content during the week, it will just make some of these cards more usable, and also their value in the auction house will be higher. I also like that now when, let's say, we are making 82 overall team of the week player, it's a choice pack. So that's, again, it's interesting for me because there is no risk of you having a duplicate card. And the same thing goes about this 84 overall B&D set. It's a choice pack, so if you want to go and risk and trade in 30 collectibles, you can actually choose the player you want. Considering it's a B&D and you cannot really use it anywhere, that's exactly how the B&D sets should be. So hopefully we see more B&D sets like this through the year, because obviously B&D is not going anywhere, it's staying in the game. And if they want to keep the B&D sets, it 100% needs to be a choice pack. But now let's talk about the things I don't like in HUT so far in NHL 26. And of course, I will start with competitive modes, specifically ranked. And the only reason I want to really start with this when I'm talking about what I don't like in NHL 26 HUT is because if you go on Reddit, if you go on Twitter, or you read any YouTube comments under any videos, you can clearly see that this is like the hottest topic currently about the HUT. Everyone, if you are not, let's say, Division 1 player, probably hates HUT, because if you're a Division 4 player, you barely will ever get any rewards. As EA told us, we will not be able to D-rank. So how we understood it, then once you, let's say, get to the silver, you cannot D-rank to the bronze. And yes, that's the case, because if you get to the silver, that's where you're staying. You cannot go back to the bronze. But if you somehow manage to get to the gold, and then you after lost the game, you know what? You're back in the silver. This is not how it was advertised, this is not how it was sold to us. And the fact that you really have to win 2 games and then lose 1 game, and in general, the packs in between are also not good enough, I don't think it's really acceptable. A lot of casual players probably will not play this mode and will stick to the offline. And that means the people who are actually trying to play rank will play each other for a very long time. Rank season will reset every single season, so that means for the next 63 days, we basically have to wait until all the cool kids will play each other, get to their divisions, to even have a chance to get some sort of rewards. Because if you go to objectives, we don't have any objectives related to the new rank mode, and even let's say if you win 50 games and lose 50 games, the only reward you're getting is pretty much XP. And that's why I also want to talk about the first XP path. What I don't like about it is that it's 70 days long. Yes, you're getting quite a lot of of collectibles, you're getting some packs and stuff like that. I just don't think it's good enough. If you have to grind the game 70 days and get this 87 overall Macklin Celebrini, how good will this card be in 70 days? If you complete the XP path in the first 4 weeks, this Macklin Celebrini is a good card. You can definitely use this card in your team. But if you're grinding every single chore and your team already have multiple icons, multiple heroes cards, this card probably will not even make a lot of people's teams. And yes, he's an 87 overall, so technically the highest overall card we currently have in the game if we are not taking into consideration any of the overall boosts. But the fact that it's not a choice pack once again and everyone will need to have the same player is something I really don't like. I think we was quite loud last year when we said that we really want a choice pack. But no, once again we have one player who most likely will not even make a lot of people's teams, because by the time you even get this card, there probably already will be higher overall cards released by EA. Also, for example, if you're a hardcore grinder and play this game quite a lot, the bonus tiers once again are not unlimited. So once you're done with an XP path, there is really nothing else to do. And I'm not saying that, I completed the XP path in the first week and now I have nothing to do. That's your own fault. I'm talking about the people who will complete this XP path probably in around 30 to 40 days. For the remaining of the 20 days, there is really nothing to grind for, because ranked really doesn't give us anything. The only rewards you can actually get will be in the cup chase. And that means you just have to play the mode over and over and over again, and those 82s, and then exchange them for, let's say, any of the MSPs you want. Not really happy about the first season, at least how long it is, what the rewards look like. And when we talk about the rewards, let's also talk about the collectible sets. Because if you complete the XP path in full, you get 140 collectibles. 140 collectibles sounds like a lot, but when you start looking at the sets and what you're actually getting, it's not a lot. Because the best set, for example, to have a 79 plus overall choice pack, and yes, you still can only pick one player, would cost you 55 collectibles. So that means you can only do 2 of these. Or you can exchange all your collectibles for 4 81 plus cards. I think 81 plus and 79 plus is probably the best value for the sets, but at the same time, if you remember last year, we was getting so many collectibles and we was able to get so many cards. The season pass is not rewarding enough. You get a lot of low overall cards, which yes, you can exchange, and yes, I'm not against doing the exchange sets, but in general, there is really nothing guaranteed. If you can only get 481s by completing the XP path on top of the main rewards, it just doesn't feel like it's worth it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I understand it's season 1. They're probably testing to see how many people do the sets, which sets are the best and which sets people are doing the most, but it definitely needs adjusting. These collectible sets look very expensive and also I don't think really rewarding, for example. Maybe when the fantasy event drops and the fantasy cards start at 77, a lot of people could use their collectibles for these 77 pluses. That's why I'm not using any of my XP collectibles at this point, because I want to wait and see. Maybe the fantasy event drops before the actual season starts, and if this fantasy event card overalls are very low, I may go and try and get some of the fantasy cards by using my collectibles. So yes, we'll keep all my collectibles until the fantasy event drops, and then I will use them to see maybe I can pull a fantasy card. Will I? Probably not, but I'm delusional and I like to hope that maybe I can actually do it. And the last thing I want to talk about is the coins. You really cannot earn coins in NHL 26, at least not at this point, because yes, they release season 1 milestone objectives. If you score 3 top shelf goals, you get 500 coins. If you get 500 hits, you get another 500 coins. If you look at all these rewards for just coins, it's actually ridiculous. If you complete the games, it doesn't give you quite a lot of coins. There are no milestone objectives for quite a lot of coins as well. And basically, every 5 days when you open the daily login pack, you get 2,000 coins. Like, really, is that all what it's worth? There definitely should be other ways of earning coins, because, for example, I like to work auction house. I like to flip cards. I like to try to snipe something, but a lot of people prefer just playing the game and being rewarded. But this year, at least so far, the packs you're earning barely ever will give you something which you can sell and then make coins. There are no objectives for coins. And as far as you're not really lucky and don't pull, I don't know, Makar, McDavid, or any other card, or maybe you're just selling every single 79 plus overall card you have, you really will not be able to make any coins. So hopefully that's another thing EA will adjust and give us more ways of earning coins. And yes, if they don't want to do the objectives, that's absolutely fine. But that would mean they need to give us better packs where we can actually pull better players which have some value. And one of the reasons why cards really don't sell for anything this year, and I'm talking about the lower overall cards, is because we don't really have any chase cards. Last year, X Factors and hologram icons was the only reason why the low overall cards had value. So pretty much every single card you pulled, you knew how much coins you could actually make. This year, if you're pulling 75, 76, or even 77s, there is really no value for them, as far as they're not NHLers and they're not needed for the weekly headliner objectives, because that's the only way how you can actually sell those 75s and get, let's say, 5,000 coins. Okay, that's me done yapping about NHL 26 and HUT so far. There is a lot of things I like, a lot of things I really don't like, and I hope EA will improve. I don't really want to do any negative videos this year, because if I'm saying something negative, I also want to give something positive, because last year was quite depressing and I definitely don't want to do the same thing this year. So hopefully, EA, if you are ever watching my videos, please make sure that this year's content is fun and we have a lot of things to do. If I would need to rate NHL 26, at least Hockey Ultimate Team, I probably would say 6.5 out of 10, and that's because I really like the new line combinations and because they're releasing cards we can actually make and all the other stuff I basically said already in this video. So let me know down in the comment sections below, what would be your rating for NHL 26 HUT? I'm not talking about the gameplay because gameplay is always subjective. Let's just talk about the HUT, the content and stuff like that. Let me know the rating down in the comment sections below, and I really hope you enjoyed today's yapping video. I will do one video like this pretty much every single month where we will go and talk about the HUT, what I liked, what I disliked, did EA improve something, and in general, just me sitting here and sharing my opinions about NHL 26. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure you like and subscribe. It's super easy. You just have to press one button and it will definitely make me smile. As always, guys, appreciate you watching. Have a good one and see you on the ice.